Okay, so I haven't done a video in a while, so I thought I'd do another one. What I thought I'd do this time round, I subscribe to this, which I get every month, or every 2 months, depending on when the postie delivers it. And you often get interesting articles in it, which I thought one of these I wanted to read because I thought it'd be quite interesting. And you see, I don't think a lot of people actually get hold of this, which is a shame, because I think that people should hear and read a lot of these articles because they are quite interesting. So I'm just going to basically read the article, and it's talking about empathy, which is a thing that is often discussed with autistics, where it's said that people with Aspergers and autism, they can't understand empathy from normal people very well at all. And what it says is, Baron Cohen suggests that empathy can be defined by our ability to identify what someone else is thinking or feeling and to respond to their thoughts and feelings with an appropriate emotion. The influential study by Atwood in 1988 said abnormalities in modulating one's voice, a lack of facial expression, poverty in bodily gestures, and an often curious impression of woodenness characterized the autistic difference. This difference was seen as stemming from an inability to appreciate the expressive gestures of others, rather than a difficulty, for whatever reason, in the performance of those gestures, such as how performances might become compromised by sensory overload and stress. No autistic adolescent ever used such expressive gestures. Much research regarding the recognition of emotions in others, including that of Atwood in 1988 and Baron Cohen in 2011, is based on the idea that basic emotions are a universally expressed and understood phenomenon across cultures. However, in recent years this notion has come under more scrutiny, particularly from Barrett in 2012. She suggests that how one interprets emotional expression is far more socially conditioned and situated than had been recognized. The false belief tasks utilised by Baron Cohen and followers has also been widely criticised, most recently by Peterson in 2013, who compared the awareness of other minds demonstrated in a competitive game scenario to that of the Sally Ann test. They found only 13% of their autistic participants passed the latter test, while 74% of the same participants passed the former. This finding demonstrates that many children with autism who fail motivationally barren standard false belief tests can spontaneously use theory of mind to track their social partner's beliefs in the context of a competitive game. In her blog, autistic writer Rachel Cohen-Rottenberg suggests that autistics lacking empathy is a myth. She suggests much of what is considered of a lack of empathy is based on the performance of expressed empathy, with non-normative expression being deemed as a deficit in the individual. She suggests it is rather more sensitive and reflexive regarding her own expression towards others. I am sensitive to the fact that a response might not work for one person and may work for another. She struggles with the reading of a non-verbal cue, yet when not with other autistics, nor with people she had got to know over a period of time, suggesting an intuitive understanding of the communication preferences of people of similar disposition. Cameron uses the term dyspathy to highlight how empathy is often blocked or resisted. She suggests when looking at a social interaction, one also has to take into account dyspathic instances, which inhibit emotional connection. Cameron cites a number of studies that have demonstrated bias towards in-group members in automatic empathy. Such findings support the theories of Billig 1985 and Tajfel 1981, in which people felt increasing connection to those deemed within their social in-group while stereotyping outsiders. If we were to be continually tuning into other people's emotions, we would be perpetually anxious or exhilarated and quickly exhausted. We must therefore have our own efficient inhibitory mechanism that screen out most of the emotional empathy being carried out by our brain without us even noticing. Whilst working on the article, the writer happened upon a post on the internet regarding interview tips and how to master non-verbal communication. Among the suggestions were to not overthink questions posed, not become distracted, demonstrate confidence, have excellent body posture, keep eye contact and a calm demeanour, avoid fidgeting, and at the same time as all of this, pay attention to the non-verbal signals of the interviewer. These nervous movements and fidgets may be a sign of anything from uncertainty in your qualifications to lying about something. If this is how such expressions and bodily gesture can be interpreted by an NT, then can the lack of empathy really be located in the autistic mind alone? I seriously doubt it, which is why I have previously proposed there is a double empathy problem between two parties, that both parties struggle to interpret the expressions of people with divergent dispositions from their own. I think they're just as bad at reading us as we are at reading them, and it's just because they are the majority. Their failure to understand us is not as disabling as our failure to understand them. Now, this was an article by Damien E. M. Milton in this particular magazine. I thought this was pretty relevant because I've come across a few situations where it's assumed that because of the condition I have, this is why I can't understand the people I'm with. And it does boil down to, because there are more of a certain group, what they do is considered normal, whereas if you're in the minority group, what you do is not considered normal and is seen as abnormal or different, so you stand out, which I think is the same with any culture anyway. So I just thought I'd bring that to the web.